ladies and gentlemen, Vagran Gaming, and I don't normally do a lot of PvE, but I thought this match was pretty funny for a couple of reasons. One, I wasn't paying attention to the attacks that said immune, and I kept attacking the Rakata guy up there. The other thing that was amusing was that the tank basically pulled a Leroy Jenkins. I don't know if you caught it right when the match started, but the tank just kind of charges in, throws his lightsaber, and leaps in, and as a result, he locked one of our DPS out of the fight. So now he's on the other side of the wall, going, guys, what's going on? And here we are. So there's a couple of things about this match. The first thing about this is a master mode of I'm gonna butcher this. Ratataki? Oh my, I'm drawing a complete brain fart on it. Anyway, it's Rakata Prime, and I loaded in late. I had just finished running a veteran mode, and I was trying to get my weekly for the master mode. Queued up, got a pop fairly quickly, and the second I loaded in, the group got into excuse me, the group had gotten into combat. What I found out later was I loaded into the flashpoint, and one of them immediately rushed in and started shooting at the Rancor, and they died. Like in the process of me walking up to catch up to them, they had wiped. So I get there, and they're all going over like what had gone wrong, and I'm not sure what had specifically gone wrong for them before, but they had tried this boss a couple of times. The first time it didn't quite work out, and then someone on the team had left, and then I walked in, and they started the fight without me. Hilarity ensued. I finally catch up to them, and the tank goes all Leroy Jenkins on us. So where we're at right now is they weren't sure if we would be able to finish this fight because they had already tried, turns out twice, one of those times with 3 people, and it didn't work out. Now, what they were missing was some Zarya magic. That's what they were missing, right? It was the third heat. So, couple things. I hadn't done a master mode in a while. This was like my first one in at least like close to 6 months or so. Next, that's not true. I did one with Marion a little while ago, but even then she did all the heavy lifting. All I had to do was stab stuff. This time, there's actually a bit of mechanics involved, which I didn't quite pick up on right away. Early on, I got rooted, and fortunately, the healer was paying attention and like yanked me out of the fire. The second time I got rooted, I think Hold the Line was up. At least somewhere along in here, my Hold the Line was active, and I just used that to get out. And then around the 3rd or 4th time, when I was like, oh man, this is taking forever, how come I'm still locked in? Eventually, I worked out that I could use my Tech Override. Not Tech Override, I'm mixing up my skill names. But basically, you have a skill it's kind of a cleanse, but it works on tech effects. And once I figured that out, I was able to get out of the fire. It just took me a little bit of experimentation to work it out. Because my first line of defense when I get rooted is Hold the Line. Unfortunately, Hold the Line's cooldown is about 45 seconds. So that's not the most useful thing in a boss fight like this where you're gonna be fighting for a little bit. So it was a bit of a learning experience for me, which I enjoyed. Yeah, I think that's about when I worked it out. Cool. And it was also kind of nice because since this group had already wiped on this fight a couple of times, when I came in and basically handled all the damage duties myself and we cleared it, they were pretty happy. They had some nice things to say about me after that, which was nice. And but the point of this video isn't just to like pat myself on the back about being amazing, because I'm far from the best player at this game, and I'm definitely not the best commando. I'd probably give that credit to somebody else whose name I can't remember off the top of my head. But this is more about the attitudes that some people bring into pugs, basically. This group had one of my favorite qualities for any group, whether it's PvE or PvP, and that is they had a sense of humor. And that to me is huge, because if I'm with a group that has a sense of humor, I can crack jokes, we can goof off in between the fights, and we can have some fun. And, oh yeah, that was actually kind of amusing. The boss wound up going outside the wall and smacking around our sentinel. Poor guy. The poor guy was stuck outside the wall, and the boss runs at him and just beats the crap out of him. There wasn't really much he could do because he was by himself. Oh, that poor guy. He deserved better. I feel bad for laughing because if that happened to me, I'd probably be a little bit aggravated. But he was a good sport about it. Not only did he have a good sense of humor about it, but like he was just basically he couldn't even really watch the fight. I think the wall blocks his view. But towards the tail end of it, I messaged him. I'm like, hey, tell me some jokes. And he did. So I'm gonna butcher his pronunciation, but Ile, whoever he is, that guy was awesome. He had a good sense of humor, so I liked him. So anyway, like I was saying about attitudes some people bring in, and I'm sure some of you have even come across this in pugs. You load into Group Finder, you get placed into a team, you load to a flashpoint, and someone in your group looks around like, oh, you guys aren't good enough to beat this, and they leave. And then as a result, it takes you a lot longer to try to find a replacement and try to get through. At least it can be luck of the draw. Sometimes another player will just jump right in, other times you can be stuck for a while. And I've been in some groups where someone will just pull out a companion and they're, all right, let's see how far we can go. This particular flashpoint is when I stuck with it, because after talking with some of the players, like some of them were relatively new to their classes. The healer Galactic Cat, they said that they weren't the most comfortable. I don't want to misquote them, but they basically said they weren't super confident as a healer. I don't know if like this is their first time playing a healer, or if they're still in the process of gearing up, or whatever it is. But they had a good attitude, so it was totally fine working with them. The tank, I don't believe the tank had a ton of experience either from some of the comments that he made. And the Sentinel, Ile, some of the things that he mentioned when we finally cleared the final boss was like, oh yeah, I forgot, like I had Pacify and I had, was it Zen? There were two abilities that previously he just wasn't using them. But by that last run, when we agreed, okay, this is our last attempt for the final boss, he had figured some things out, and it helped a lot. But basically, it wasn't the most confident group. They were learning their roles, but they were cool, you know? They were friendly. So we stuck it out, and as a result, we were able to get some victories. So my thing is, and I'll continue that in a minute, but I actually gotta, first, I gotta take a quick break of this commentating, take us to the gun show. Bam. Alright, let's pick this back up. Okay, so, now that the gun show is over, I can get back to my point. So anyway, instead of trying to be like elitist and say, oh, you guys can't handle this or whatever, you know, we stuck it out, mostly because these guys were fun to play with. And as a result, we did okay. There was a couple ups and downs. I think there's a boss where he summons a bunch of ads, forms a shield around himself, and just drops AoEs everywhere. Like, that boss fight took us maybe 2 tries. And over the course of some of these failed attempts, it just became clear that, you know, instead of saying, I'm the DPS, that's all I'm doing, and you're going to notice it pretty soon in this fight here, I figured, you know what, if we're a team, I should actually start, you know, acting like I'm part of the team. And since the healer mentioned that he wasn't super confident, I started off healing, like, a lot. There's various points in time where I wanted to just pump out damage, but I would stop and say, you know what, I'm gonna help top this guy off because his health is getting low and it's making me nervous. And I think that's the good way to go, you know? Like, you probably could just try to jump around and get a different team, and you'd probably clear it a lot faster, but I think overall, at least this is for me personally, because I like trying to see what my different weaknesses are in the game and trying to improve on them. I originally started playing Commando because I thought it was cool that they could off-heal. That was like one of the things that drew me to the class in the first place. And once I got back into, you know, trying to keep track of not only my own offensive rotation, but also my teammates' health, I had a lot of fun. And this is some stuff that I very well could have missed out on if I had, you know, got a little bit too high-minded and said, oh, you guys can't hang, I'm getting out of here, blah, 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 and just was like a jerk about it. And it would have been a complete waste, because I got to tighten up some of the old skills and some of the things that drew me towards the class in the first place. You know, a bit of a trip down memory lane. And, you know, I just got to try a bit of a slightly different style of gameplay. like off healing, it was fun, and even matches like this was one of the reasons why I had to rework some of my hotkeys. My in combat res, I went years without ever using that skill, and I think this master mode was the first time in a very long time where I opened up my UI. I'm like, all right, where's the hotkey for that? Made sure I knew what the hotkey was, and actually used it a couple of times. The first time we tried this boss fight, and I believe this was our third attempt, the first time the healer dropped like very quickly, like faster than I was expecting. So ran up, hit the hotkey, and I'm like, all right, great, it works. Healer popped back up, and we continued on. Sadly, we still wiped, and then the second attempt was more of the same. But this time, when I tried to actively be more of a team player instead of just focusing on doing my damage like I normally like to do in Flashpoints, we did a lot better. And it wasn't just the things that I was doing either. Like I kind of alluded to earlier, the Sentinel was like, oh yeah, I've got Pacify. I can use Pacify, and I can use like my Zen ability. And that not only increased his damage, but it lowered how much damage was being dished out. Because Pacify, you can use it on everyone except for raid bosses. I'm sorry, raid boss, operations bosses, and it lowers their accuracy. So that was just overall less damage that the healer had to worry about in the first place. And yeah, we made it work. The other thing was the tank. He mentioned that he was doing everything he could to maintain aggro. So he was probably potentially like a little bit lax on using some of his taunts. This time around, he was on point. Like he had his taunts going probably off cooldown, and he did a great job keeping the attention on him. And you know, we came together. So it's nice sometimes, because a lot of the content, as far as PvE goes, a lot of times it can either be simply like a gear check, or or just learning what the mechanics are for a particular fight. It's not that tricky, but given the status of the gear and the experience these guys had, this was actually like a challenging Flashpoint. And once we got into it, I was having fun. Like the repair bill was getting up there a little bit, but I have the cash and nothing to spend it on, so I was fine with it. And it was fun. It kind of opened up my mind a little bit as far as like different things to focus on in a match, different ways to support the team, or a different style of play. Like it's not just, all right, I'm gonna make sure I'm locked in on all of my different cooldowns to maximize my offense, but it's like, oh wait, someone's health is getting low. And especially at this point, we were so close. I didn't want that tank to die. So like, this was our last chance to get it done, because the consensus was final try. So anyway, the point being, if you're ever in like a Flashpoint, the group isn't the greatest, if there are people you can communicate with and they've got a decent sense of humor, just see what you can do. Maybe there's some of your off skills that aren't your main focus that you can do to try to help out, and as a result, you can have a lot of fun. Because the community is only going to be as good as the people in it. It's up to us as individuals to do what we can to make sure everybody has a good time. So that's my long-winded spiel. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Feel free to give it a like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you all next time.